And now it's time for really stupid things to do in a hurricane. Hurricanes are massive, destructive, terrifying storms. They strike the East Coast, Caribbean region, and Gulf Coast of the United States every year from June to November, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. But you can only be afraid for so long. Once you're prepared for one of these giant storms, you begin to embrace the horror, and then you start to do some pretty stupid things, like throwing hurricane parties, or riding hurricane surf. One of the dumbest things I've ever done in a hurricane was done during my very first one. Hurricane Charlie hit us with 90-mile-per-hour winds, but once the winds were down to about 50 miles per hour, me and a neighbor decided to go outside just to see what hurricane-force winds felt like. Well, it was cool at first. Then this huge tree limb sailed right over the top of our heads. Yeah, that was enough. Of course, nothing was as ridiculous as what Disney tried to pull on us during Hurricane Wilma. I worked a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party shift that night. Wilma struck, but they didn't shut us down. They told us to call the hurricane hotline the next morning to see what was going to happen. I was up at dawn since the howling wind outside wouldn't let me sleep. I should probably call that hurricane hotline and see what Disney's going to do with itself today. The worst of Wilma was happening now. Disney wanted all the full-timers to come in at 7 a.m. so that once the storm passed around noon, we could open up the park for the resort guests. Well, I wasn't about to put myself on the road during the meanest part of the storm for that, so I called off. And now what I didn't know was that every full-timer called off as well. Disney made the college program interns come in instead. The union forced Disney to pay us, since they considered it reckless endangerment. But the CPs, well, they wouldn't talk to the rest of us for almost a month. We called it the Great Hallow-Wilma Mutiny. But that was way in the past. How about some more contemporary stupidity? I think we can oblige. Now, listen, as far as this hurricane goes, the one thing that I was really looking forward to doing, last hurricane, I remember going out riding a skateboard in the hurricane wind. This time what I wanted to actually do was this. I wanted to ride out the hurricane on my donut. That's right. I thought it would be really cool to wait until the rain was just at an extreme point and then to jump on my donut here and ride it out. That area always fills up as soon as it starts really raining. That was the area where I wanted to ride the donut. Unfortunately, there was no weather that I could actually jump on the donut and do it. Too bad, man. That would have been incredible. Well, would you look at this? It's actually raining. And now it's getting a little bit more harsh. You know, if we're going to start getting all of this, perhaps I should get my donut handy. But by the time the clock rolled around to 6, with no more rain, it was obvious the opportunity was lost. That's right, a little wind, but no storm. This is exactly, 6 o'clock and it's passed us by. You can see outside that there's nothing going on there at all. So, just like Dorian. Obviously, I'm not going to be riding the donut in the gigantic hurricane rainstorm. But fortunately, this is Florida, so you don't need a hurricane to flood out the backyard. Just a good old-fashioned August afternoon thunderstorm. It was mid-August, the storm I'd been waiting for cruised through. There was lots of thunder, tons of lightning, and rain by the buckets. Just look at it, magnificent. Best yet, it flooded the backyard. These summertime Florida thunderstorms can be violent and vicious, but they don't last long. So, realizing time was a factor, and already being shaken but not stirred, I put on my old lifeguard gear and grabbed the donut. I stood outside for a moment, watching the storm and wondering if this was really such a great idea. But I'd waited through 2 impotent hurricanes for this moment. So, in the words of Woody Harrelson, it was time to nut up or shut up. Yes, the backyard had flooded, but the water wasn't deep enough. Enough water. Not enough water. Of all the things I thought might happen, it never occurred to me that the flooding was too shallow to actually float me and the donut. Oh, well, I thought, as I watched the storm abate, at least I took the shot. And speaking of shots, I'll bet there's another martini inside, just waiting to be as shaken as I was. So till next storm, hasta la vista, baby. And remember, for more wanderings, don't forget to subscribe.
Smoking rockets, Commander? You mean they haven't subscribed already?